So Long and Thanks for All the Fish by Douglas Adams. Chapter 15. 8 hours west sat a man alone on a beach, mourning an inexplicable loss. He could only think of his loss in little packets of grief at a time, because the whole thing was too great to be borne. He watched the long, slow Pacific waves come in along the sand, and waited for the nothing that he knew was about to happen. As the time came for it not to happen, it duly did not happen, and so the afternoon wore itself away, and the sun dropped beneath the long line of the sea, and the day was gone. The beach was a beach we shall not name, because his private house was there. But it was a small sandy stretch somewhere along the hundreds of miles of coastline that first runs west from Los Angeles, which is described in the new edition of the Hitch-Hiker's Guide to the Galaxy in one entry as junky wunky lunky stunky and what's that other word, all kinds of bad stuff, woo, and in another, written only hours later, as being like several thousand square miles of American Express junk mail, but without the same sense of moral depth. Plus, the air is, for some reason, yellow. The coastline runs west and then turns north up to the misty bay of San Francisco, which the guide describes as a good place to go. It's very easy to believe that everyone you meet there is also a space traveller. Starting a new religion for you is just their way of saying hi. Until you've settled in and got the hang of the place, it's best to say no to 3 questions out of any given 4 that anyone may ask you, because there are some very strange things going on there, some of which an unsuspecting alien could die of. The hundreds of curling miles of cliffs and sand, palm trees, breakers and sunsets are described in the guide as boffo, a good one. And somewhere on this good boffo stretch of coastline lay the house of this inconsolable man, a man whom many regarded as being insane. But this was only, as he would tell people, because he was. One of the many, many reasons why people thought him insane was because of the peculiarity of his house, which, even in a land where most people's houses were peculiar in one way or another, was quite extreme in its peculiarness. His house was called the Outside of the Asylum. His name was simply John Watson, though he preferred to be called, and some of his friends now reluctantly agreed to this, Wonko the Sane. In his house were a number of strange things, including a grey glass ball with 8 words engraved upon it. We can talk of him much later on. This is just an interlude to watch the sun go down and say that he was there watching it. He had lost everything he cared for, was now simply waiting for the end of the world, little realising that it had already been and gone.